Hello, in this session we're going to look at how simple it is to use IBM WebSphere Message Broker version 8 to build an integration flow that includes some .NET code. We're going to use Microsoft Visual Studio to build a very simple piece of .NET code in C#. We're then going to build a binary DLL assembly from that and use that assembly to build an integration flow in WebSphere Message Broker that surrounds it in a very simple RESTful interface over HTTP. So let's go into Microsoft Visual Studio and create a new project. We'll use one of the templates that's supplied to WebSphere Message Broker when it installs, and we'll use the template to modify a message, which means we'll have all the inputs coming into it from the integration flow and actually be able to affect the outputs if we want to. In our very simple sample, what we're going to do is actually create a Hello World sample using the Microsoft Speech libraries, so let's import those here. And just at the top here we'll say we want to use those. And then if we just scroll down you can see that there's this very small piece of wrapping code that's being created for us by the template. And here if we just open up this section, this is where we can actually type our code. So let's create a new instance of the speech synthesizer. Let's tell it we want to speak some input that's coming in from the integration flow. Let's tell Message Broker to do anything that it needs to cast the data coming in down to a string. Let's say we want the data from the input coming in from the integration flow. Let's say that the data is going to be in XML format, and we're going to use the very efficient XML parser that comes with WebSphere Message Broker. And let's say that the message is going to be coming in on a very simple top-level element called message. And there we have it, we've written our code. Let's just click Build to create that binary DLL assembly, and we can move across to the WebSphere Message Broker tooling. So here you can see all the options we have for getting started in the WebSphere Message Broker tooling. We're going to start by creating an application project, which means that we're going to be starting from scratch and building everything that's needed for the integration flow. However, we might also start by creating a reusable library, starting top-down from an existing WSDL web service or schema definition, or start using any of the patterns that are supplied with the product or the samples supplied with the product, or even patterns from the web. So we'll create our application project here, give it a name. Underneath that application project that's been created, we'll create our new integration flow. Give that a name. And here we have a blank canvas where we can start graphically building our integration. So let's go and find the DLL that was created in Microsoft Visual Studio. So here we have the Visual Studio projects. Underneath there we have the new project that was created. And there we have the actual DLL that was built. So I'll pick that up and drag it onto my canvas. And there we go. That's that .NET code brought into our integration flow in WebSphere Message Broker. I'm going to create an extremely simple RESTful interface here using HTTP as the transport. So we'll just one very simple RESTful interface here called speak. And we'll select that same XML parser that we mentioned in the code. Connect the output of that node up to the input of the .NET code and say that as soon as we call the .NET code, we want to reply to whatever application was calling us. And now we can just use the built-in testing capabilities to test this. Select Test. And now I'm in the built-in unit testing capabilities of WebSphere Message Broker. I'm just going to type in my message directly as XML. And now I click Send. This asks me to deploy it to an environment. I've got a simple test environment locally I can deploy it to. And now it's going away, deploying that to the environment, and then it will actually call that service over HTTP.
I'm WebSphere Message Broker. Thanks for watching.
So there we have it. We've started by building a piece of .NET code using C# as our language in Microsoft Visual Studio, building that into a binary assembly, and using that binary assembly as the starting point for creating the integration flow. In this case, just wrapping up that piece of .NET code in a RESTful HTTP simple service.